All right, welcome once again to another episode of our studies. Today, we want to look at, or in this series, we want to look at uh, basic mechanics as a course. And this course too is one of the predominant courses that's being taken by the engineering students in most of the schools across the globe. So, in this course, as you can see, the title is Basic Mechanics and it's offered by a lot of programs CELES, GL, MC, MN, Minerals, PE. So all these ones are the program codes. Computer science, engineering, electrical, environmental, safety, geological, mechanical, minerals, mining, and minerals and petroleum. All right, so it means it's a very important subject of study. All right, so in this series, to break down the course to the finest particles so that you students hearing me out there can also enjoy the course. All right, so we have introduction and fundamental concept. What is mechanics? When you say mechanics, what does it even mean? All right, so when you say mechanics, it's just a branch of physics or it's a science of physics or branch of physics that is dealing with the prediction of the condition of a particle or a body at rest, or even if it is in motion, we predict the condition of it in the motion by a force. I mentioned two things: conditions, conditions, and what? And force. You are trying to predict it. All right. So mechanics can also be divided into two branches. We have the statics. Statics. When you say something is static or stagnant, it means something which is at rest. Then you also have what we call the dynamics. So statics and dynamics. When you come about mechanics, we have the statics and the dynamics. When you talk about the dynamics too, we have what we call the kinetics and the what kinematics. Kinetics means we are just dealing with the forces, that's the forces causing the motion and the motion as well. But when you talk about kinematics, we are just dealing with the position of the particle or the body. And you understand what I mean by particle. All right. In the line of study, you see what I mean by particle. All right. So there are some fundamental concepts. So what it means is that there is some concept that you need to grab. In the study of mechanics or engineering statics, that's what people call it. The concept that we are dealing with, we are dealing with time, we are dealing with time, we are dealing with mass, we are dealing with space. All these ones are right in the material that I'm using. So I can quickly go through. That's when you talk about the fundamental concepts, the basic concepts. So as I said, mechanics, blah 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 blah. Alright, so all these ones are good. So we have the basic concepts. We have the space, as I said, time, mass, and force. You cannot leave force out when you talk about mechanics. All right. So whenever we say a particle in mechanics, what we mean is we are using a point in a geometrical space. So when I say a particle in mechanics, I mean a point, just a point or a dot. It can be a particle. And why do I say a point can be a particle? So what it means is engineering statics or what you call the basic mechanics, our main focus is not on deformation. We are not looking at deformation of bodies. So what it means is when you apply the force, we are not looking out for the body to deform or what we call the non-deformable bodies. Yes, so that's what it means by. So you cannot deform a particle, you cannot deform a dot. Dot is the smallest, tiniest uh, item or an entity. So you cannot deform that. Very small quantity, right? All right. So that's it. And as we know, force is a pull or a push on an object. This this is rightly from primary education. Yes, that's a unit of what Newton. It's a vector quantity because it has a magnitude and a direction. All right. So what are the fundamental principles? What are I already spoken about particle, which is here. Can see that, right? All right. So fundamental principles. So what we are coming to look at the principles that will help us in this course. So in this course, we have the principle of parallelogram. That is addition of forces. Parallelogram. When you have two vectors and are separated by an angle, you should be able to give me the resultant. That is addition of the forces. So this is the first principle that we are going to use. So this is an illustration. So P is a vector which can be a force vector. Q2 is a vector which can also be a force vector. Then this R here is what I'm calling the resultant. Resultant R in blue color. All right. So this is the parallelogram law. They have the principle of transmissibility. What it means is, in this principle, if I have a force acting at a point on a body, so imagine I have a body here. There's a body, and I have a force, say force P on this body B. The body is B. The force is P. What it means by principle of transmissibility is, if I take this force with the same magnitude and direction, I'm not changing the direction, right? And I'm not changing the magnitude of the force. If I say the magnitude of the force, I mean the intensity of the force. Are you okay? So if this force is say 10 Newton, that's the magnitude. If I take the 10 Newton, I don't change the direction, and I move this force along the line of action. We have something called the line of action. So the line of action of this force is this. The line of action is more or less like the 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 path that the force passes through. The path that the force passes through. That's what I mean is the the trace for which the force is acting. So if I'm pushing a car, the way the car is moving with the direction of the force is what I'm calling the line of action. So when you go into the various industries, they will be using line of action, line of fire. So don't stand in the line of fire. If they say don't stand in the line of fire or don't stand in the line of action, what it means is don't stand in the effect of the force. So line of action is like the effect of the force. So this force, the line of action is what I have drawn with the dotted lines. If I move this force P from here, then bring it along the line of action. So maybe I bring it outside the body B with the same direction, P with the same magnitude of 10 Newton. What you are saying is, principle of transmissibility is saying that the effect the force causes here, say region 1, here is region 1, the effect the force causes, it will be the same effect, the cause the force will cause at this region B, region 2, region 2. So that's what transmissibility is saying. It will produce the same effect if it is moved with the same magnitude and through the same line of action. All right. Then we have the already Newton's laws that we know from the secondary institutions. Yes. So all these ones are representing the transmissibility. Can you see that? Yes. The transmissibility. Yes. All these ones. All right. So what it means now is that we are looking at the Newton's law, which is the third principle. The first law is the third principle. So if I ask you the principles of mechanics, you should be able to tell me one, two, three. All of them, there are six in number. All right, so now Newton's first law, as we know, a body at rest will continue to be at rest unless an external force act on it. So if I have a body here, this body will be here till thy kingdom come unless an external force act on it. External force can be wind, it can be whatever. Alright, alright. So if it's even moving in a straight line, it will continue to move in that straight line until there is an external force on it. So simply, what this means is that if a body will be at rest, it means the summation of the forces on it should be zero. That's what it means in other terms. Alright, then we have the second law of Newton, which is a particle will have acceleration, alright, proportional to the force. We know that one already. So it means that if I have a force, summation of a force, of course, force is a vector, so you put the vector symbol on it. Summation of a force is equal to mass times acceleration. That's what the second law is saying. That means force is directly proportional to the change in velocity, or indirectly is more or less like proportional to acceleration. So what it means is if a body is at rest, it means the acceleration is zero. If a body is at rest, what it means is the acceleration is zero. And if the acceleration is zero, it will make the first law hold. It will make the first law hold. So that's what it means. That's what it means. So what it means is that force is directly proportional to the product of the mass and the acceleration. So if I have acceleration to be the same, then force will directly be proportional to mass. Yes. So imagine I have a steel here. I have a steel, a steel of area of 1 meter to uh, 0.5 meters, and I have a wood, a wood of the same area, 1 meters to 0.5 meters. Then this and this will come down with the same acceleration, because we know that everybody on earth, or every particle is acted on by G equals 10 or 9.8 meters per second squared. Alright, so if the acceleration is the same due to the acceleration due to gravity, then what it means now is that the impact of the force, for which I'm calling the summation of the force, will be dependent on the mass. And this is steel. Of course, we know that steel, of the same area as wood, the steel will definitely be heavier than the wood because of it being a metal. Yes, because of it being a metal. Alright, it being a metal. Alright, so that's what it means. Summation of forces is equals to product of mass and acceleration. Alright, then the third one is to every action, or every action that we do, there is an equal and opposite what? Reaction. So to every action that we do, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Alright, so it means if you are in a hurry to open a door, and you hold the knob of the door or the handle of the door, then you try opening the door and the door is not opening. It means that the force that you are using, so this is the door, this is the knob or the handle. You try opening the door, whether you are pulling or you are pushing, and if you are pulling and the door is not coming to you, it means the door is also if you pull with maybe 5 Newton and the door is not opening, or the door is not coming to you, it means that the door is also causing a reaction. It's also causing a reaction. You are doing the action and the force will cause a reaction. Listen to me very well. You are doing the action and the door will also bring a reaction, which will be 5 Newton. So it means the total, what it means is that the total reaction on the door, the total reaction on the door is 5 Newton, and the sum of the forces on the door is not sufficient to open it. So that's what it means. That's what we mean by to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. The moment the door opens, it means the action that you are doing is bigger than the reaction. But on the normal note, whenever you do an action, there is an equal and opposite what reaction. All right. So that's what it means by these ones. So this is the direction, what you mean by direction. Then the line, the length of the line is what you are calling the magnitude. The magnitude. You will see more of this. You will see more of this. And the last principle of which I have escaped, or the last principle is just talking about Newton law of gravitation. That's the force between two masses, M, capital M and small m. That force is directly proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, or the radius of the earth, something like that. Because the body is on earth, so between the distance or radius of the earth, the square of that. Yes, so that's what is here. That's what is here. So what it means is that J, if I say F is directly proportional to M small m over R squared, where R is the radius of the earth, then what it means is I can bring a constant say K, M small m R squared. But in this case, our K is what you are calling the gravity constant, the gravity constant, or earth gravitational constant, something like that. So it has a value of 6.67. Yes, it's here, times 10 to the power -11, and this is the units. This is the units. All these ones should be on your fingertips. If I tell you to find me the force between two masses, and I give you the masses, and I also give you the distance between the two masses or the radius of the earth, you should be able to tell me the force between it. All right, using that formula. So all these ones are basic things that we should know. Yes, they are the basic things that we should know. So here should be feet per second square, right? Yes, because here is acceleration, here is force. When you see IB, it means pounds. That's what it means. Pound force. Yes. You have IBF, pound force, and we have IBM, pound mass. So you should be checking out these ones. All right. So uh, I will end the intro here, and we will continue with the next we'll continue with the next phase at the other time. We'll continue the next phase at the other time. We'll try and look at forces and moments the next one. So